Hello again, scientific-minded people. Welcome to another snippet from Pale Blue Thoughts. We had been discussing alternative medicine versus scam in the main section of the channel, and whilst I had been researching on that, two events kept my attention. First is our very own Gyani Baba, who did a mind backflip for probably the 18,645th time when he said that he would take the COVID jab soon, even though he was doubly protected by Ayurveda and yoga. He didn't stop there. He called all doctors God's angels. Anything to escape cooling your heels in jail. Poor chap. Let him remain in a state of dreamasana. The other news was about Juhi Chawla, the ex-Bollywood celebrity who filed a petition against the not yet launched 5G, stating that 5G towers should be banned as it causes widespread environmental destruction, including loss of bird life in cities and cancer. The logic? Humans have a network of cells. Unchecked cell growth causes cancer. Mobile networks have cells. Unchecked cell growth causes? You get it, don't you? The High Court thankfully dismissed the petition and slapped a fine of 20 lakhs for wasting the court's time and for trying to do a publicity stunt. So today, we will see if the court was right. How often do we get a chance to see if we can overrule a court judgment? So what is 5G? Is it really safe? Would it cause cancer? The court of Pale Blue Thoughts is all set to start its proceedings. So what is 5G? You must have seen a 5 GHz frequency being used in our latest Wi-Fi networks. Is that 5G? Well, no. 5G refers to the 5th generation of mobile networks. It is a technology standard for broadband cellular networks which cellular phone companies began deploying worldwide in 2019. And it is the planned successor to the 4G networks which provide connectivity to most current cell phones. Like its predecessors, 5G networks are cellular networks in which the service area is divided into small geographical areas called cells. All 5G wireless devices in a cell are connected to the internet and the telephone network by radio waves through a local antenna in the cell. The main advantage of the new network is that they will have a greater bandwidth, giving greater download speeds, eventually up to 10 gigabits per second. Due to the increased bandwidth, it is expected the networks will increasingly be used as internet service providers for laptops and desktops, competing with existing technologies such as cable internet, and also will make possible new applications in the Internet of Things, where devices such as your refrigerator and your car, etc., would be connected to the internet and they can communicate with each other in real time, apart from you being able to communicate and control them using the internet. It can even replace the current Wi-Fi networks that we use at our home and offices. First, let us understand how we reached to 5G. The first mobile phones that were launched were 1G or first generation. Do you remember those bricks that some of us may have had to carry when mobiles first came into the market? Well, those belong to the first generation of network standards. 1G is an analog technology and the phones generally had poor battery life and voice quality without much security. And you could only call using these devices. You couldn't do anything else with it except hit someone on the head when angry. The maximum speed was around 2.4 kilobits per second. Cell phones received their first major upgrade when they went from 1G to 2G. The main difference between 1 and 2G was that while 1G was analog, 2G networks were digital. It implemented the concepts of CDMA and GSM. The advance in technology from 1G to 2G introduced many of the fundamental services that we still use today, such as SMS, roaming, conference calls, call hold, etc. The maximum speed of 2G with General Packet Radio Service or GPRS was 50 kbps or 1 Mbps with enhanced data rates for GSM evolution, or EDGE. The third generation, or 3G, launched in 2001, set the standards for most of the wireless technology we have come to know and love. Web browsing, email, video downloading, picture sharing, and other smartphone technology were introduced in the third generation. The 3G standard combined aspects of the 2G network with some new technology and protocols to deliver a significantly faster data rate. 3G had multimedia services support along with streaming, which made it popular. We could surf the internet with relatively good speed, but video streaming was still a distant dream. In 3G, the maximum speed was 2 Mbps. 4G is a very different technology as compared to 3G and was made possible practically only because of the advancements in the technology in the last 10 years. Its purpose was to provide high speed, high quality, and high capacity services to users while improving security and lower the cost of voice and data services. Current applications include amended mobile web access, IP telephony, gaming services, high definition mobile TV, video conferencing, 3D television, wearable devices, and cloud computing. This enabled fast browsing and video streaming, and even video calls were a possibility. The maximum speed of a 4G network when the device is moving is 100 Mbps or 1 Gbps. The bandwidth that 4G uses ranges from 600 MHz to 6 GHz. Now, a major difference that came about was backward compatibility. A 3G phone cannot communicate through a 4G network, but a 4G phone can communicate through a 3G or even 2G network. Now comes 5G or 5th generation. 5G promises faster data rates, higher connection density, much lower latency, among other improvements. Some of the plans for 5G include device-to-device communication, better battery consumption, and improved overall wireless coverage. The maximum speed of 5G is aimed at being as fast as 35.46 Gbps, which is over 35 times faster than 4G. It operates between 24 GHz and 86 GHz with the potential to reach up to 300 GHz. It can offer streaming in high definition, controlling vehicles remotely, or autonomous or driverless cars, robot technology, and high precision medical procedures. Now that you have understood the evolution of mobile phones and briefly understood 5G, let us come to the crux of the video. Is 5G really safe? The problem here is the word electromagnetic radiation. Radiation is a D word here. Please understand that all light, including visible light, are electromagnetic radiation. Radio waves and microwaves, X-rays and gamma rays all can be called as light, just that we cannot see any of them except visible light. I have already covered the basics in the video titled Dangers of Mobile Radiation and Is Microwave Cooking Harmful? The links to that will be in the description box below. I have already discussed the basics that you would need to understand about electromagnetic waves, frequency, wavelengths, and the energy that each carry. You can click to know more if you want. Mobile phones, including smartphones, emit radio frequency radiation which are non-ionizing. They are less harmful than the radiation that you are receiving from your friendly neighborhood sun. In fact, there is more ionizing radiation coming from the sun than a mobile phone. A large number of studies have been performed over the last 2 decades to assess whether mobile phones pose a potential health risk. To date, no adverse health effects have been established as being caused by mobile phone use. All studies conducted so far indicates that there is no known way in which radio frequency radiation affects DNA and causes cancer, and laboratory research has found no good evidence of any such effect in any animal studies. I am not saying this, WHO is saying it. Studies have repeatedly proven that radiation from your mobile phone is not capable of making any changes to your DNA and cause mutations which can lead to cancer. Nor has it been proved to cause infertility. Now, if you are one of those who think mobile towers are the reason why there are less sparrows, crows, and butterflies, please understand that the tiny mobile phone in your hand in reality carries more energy than the mobile towers. People curse when they don't get range in their mobiles, but they don't want mobile towers. So if you feel that you want to escape from the electromagnetic radiation, then you better go to the middle of a forest and stay there inside a cave, and don't you dare step into the sun. Or if you want to live in a social setting, wear a spacesuit along with your mask. But the timing of the launch of 5G coincided with yet another event across the world, the COVID-19 pandemic. People who take correlation as causation, that is, the conspiracy theorists in general, jumped into action mode. 5G towers started operating, coronavirus was detected. Put 2 and 2 together and you get 5G. Solution: attack the 5G towers. Many 5G towers or cells were razed to the ground in Netherlands, Ireland, UK, Belgium, Italy and Sweden. Why? Because people thought viruses could travel on radio waves or mobile networks. Poor droplets. How cheated would they have felt? If you see the list of countries where protests were held, there were countries which had deployed 5G towers and they were badly affected by the virus. I think the recent second wave in India would have opened some of their eyes, as India is yet to launch the towers, and yet we had huge number of cases. Now if the third wave coincides with the launch of 5G in India, then there would be more celebrities who would be out and about with the same old conspiracy theories. Who needs any other logical fallacies when we have the good old correlation is causation logic? I will not be able to conclude this video before mentioning why there would be more towers in 5G than in 4G. 5G in the 24 GHz range or above use higher frequencies than 4G, and as a result, some 5G signals are not capable of traveling large distances. Remember high school physics? Higher the frequency, lower will be the wavelength. Lower the wavelength, lesser would be the traveling distance. This requires placing 5G base stations every few hundred meters in order to use higher frequency bands. Also, these higher frequency 5G signals cannot penetrate solid objects easily, such as cars, trees, and walls, because of the nature of these higher frequency electromagnetic waves. Hence, you would see more towers or cells than what you would see in the current 4G. Else, you will get out of range very fast. So instead of the large towers that we see in 4G, you will require more number of smaller cells. So from a conspiracy theorist angle, more towers means more radiation. Also, the latency is another factor. Latency measures how long a signal takes to go from its source to its receiver and then back again. 5G latency will be faster than the speed at which we can see, making it possible to control devices remotely in near real time. Since the latency of 5G is less, you require a quick response for the network to operate efficiently. Suppose you are using the technology in a driverless autonomous car, for instance. The time delay is very critical here. If the car detects an obstacle and requires to apply the brakes immediately, it should work very fast. Now imagine a situation where there is a kid running across the road and your car suddenly starts to buffer because of a slow network. Can you imagine what would happen? Now if you're like me, who's already ready to embrace the modern technology and understands the difference between conspiracy theories and real science, and is looking to embrace 5G technology, here is the latest. 4G cell phones will not be able to use the new networks, which require 5G enabled wireless devices. Don't worry, on March 6, 2020, the first ever all 5G smartphone Samsung Galaxy S20 was released. On March 19, HMD Global, the current maker of Nokia branded phones, announced the Nokia 8.3 5G compatible phones, and not to be lagging behind, on October 13, 2020, Apple announced the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro, the first line of Apple phones to support 5G connectivity. It is time to buy a new iPhone anyways. So what is the final judgment by the court of pale blue thoughts? 5G or 4G or Parle G for that matter does not cause any harm to you or the environment. Not more than what the sun is causing anyways. So go ahead and embrace the new technology which is sure to reshape how you would live in the future. Having said all this, there are some G's that you need to be vigilant of. They come with beards these days. One is of course our Babaji and the other... The court is adjourned.